Alright, we're going to do another Christmas table centre. This time we're going to do one that's a bit more natural, a bit less flower and a bit more foliage. So I've got some beautiful bunny's tails, which are a lovely grass that you can usually find down the beach. I know a lot of you probably have beach houses or holiday houses that you're going to go to over Christmas. So this is based on that. We've got some succulents, which we can also put in. We've got some beautiful saltbush, which at the moment has this dried flower on it, which is really cool. And it's a lovely soft leaf that will go quite well with our succulents. And we've also just got these little dried seeds, which I think the colour will tie in quite well. So it's going to be quite neutral, a neutral coastal beachy Christmas table. So I'm going to show you a trick with the grasses. These are really thin stems. Usually these wouldn't go into a kenzan. They're a little bit too thin for the pins. So I'll just show you a quick trick that you can do if you've got grasses like this and you want to use them. Basically just pop some string around the base, make them into little bundles, and then once you trim them nice and flat, they're going to go into the kenzan a lot easier, and we can make some nice sort of natural growing arrangements coming out like that. So nice little groupings, and it's going to be a lot easier for you to pop them in. Alright, we've just prepped 5 little bunches, so they're ready to go and pop into the kenzan. So we've just tied some string at the base and then cut them nice and straight so they're going to sit flat into the pins. Alright, so as we did with our last Christmas table, I'm going to start with the lowest pieces that I'm going to pop in. So it's going to be the salt bush this time. I just find it a lot easier to start low and build up, rather than starting in the middle, filling it in, and then trying to find space to put your low pieces in. That's just me, but you can do it anyway you like. Alrighty, so we're going to start with the salt bush, which is quite thick. If you saw our last tutorial, we cut straight up into the stem like that. If the stem is really thick and woody, it makes it a lot easier to put into the kenzan base. So you can see it goes straight in like that, whereas if I try to put this one in, it's a lot harder and it doesn't really stay. So just split, watch your fingers, like that, which will help it drink and make it easy to place. Just going to create a bit of length with our salt bush. We've got lots of lovely long pieces to use. There is a few dead leaves on it, but I kind of like the colour, so I'm going to keep those on there. We're just going to pop in. So using long pieces like this is a great way to make your table centre look a lot longer than it is. As you can see, the base of it is not that long really, but if you've got lots of people sitting at your table, you can just use these lovely longer pieces to stretch it out without having to use too many kenzans or too much flour. Alright, we've got all the salt bush in now. I always love to try and group things together. I feel like it's easier to create a bit of impact on your table centre. You can spread them evenly, but it is quite easy to make it look messy when you're doing that. So we've got just 3 little groupings, and we've created some nice length along the table there. So next we're going to go in with the succulents. Just because they're nice and heavy, I want to get them in low while there's still plenty of room in the kenzans. Alright, so as we did with the salt bush, we're going to group our succulents together as well, just to make them look nice and chunky. That creates what we call a focal in the the arrangement, which is just something for the eye to rest on, like a nice chunky piece for the eye to look at when you're looking through the arrangement. So succulents, they obviously don't need that much water. So if you did just want to fill in and lay a few pieces along the table, that's quite fine as well. Like you can just tuck them in to bring your table center right down low. So if you need to, they don't necessarily need to go into the kenzan. They can just sort of sit onto the table. If you are using things that don't need to be hydrated, that's a good way to just pop them in as well. It's nice and easy for you. I love the colour of these with the saltbush, it's amazing. A real kind of blue-green. Very beachy. A little bit, see how I'm a little bit heavy to one side there, so I can't put that one there. I'm going to have to put it going this way for the time being, just so that my poor little kenzan doesn't tip over. Alright, so that's pretty nice. We've got the succulents in and the saltbush. And I might go in next actually with the grasses, just to get them in there before I use up all the space in the kenzans. And then we'll use our seed pods just to fill in space around the base. So you don't have to use bunny tails. If you can't get bunny tails, you're more than welcome to use another grass. There's plenty of grasses around that you can forage from abandoned lots or from your neighbour that doesn't mow their lawn often enough. Yeah, any kind of grass will work. Beautiful tall bits and some little shorter bits as well. Lovely. And I like a bit of an uneven placement, which makes it look a little more natural. You can tell I like things that look natural. So what I mean with an uneven placement is the spacing here is smaller than the spacing here. So we've done 3 close together, then a big space, and then 2 close together. That's a really good tip for when you're arranging, because in nature things are not always evenly spaced apart. They would look more like this naturally. So yeah, try and have some closer spacing and then some further away spacing. I've got a couple of gaps left that I just need to fill in. So I'm going to cut the seeds a little bit shorter so I can put them in close together and make some nice groupings to fill in that space there. Again, this one is quite dry, so you don't have to put all of it into your kenzan. If you want to just lay some pieces on the table or just slip them in, but they're not actually sitting in water, that's a really good idea with dried stock like this. Okay, I know I said I was finished and that it didn't need any flour, but I had some leftover white scabiosa from Bloom Into You, which is a beautiful flower farm just past Kinglake in Victoria. So I thought I'd pop it through just so you can see how it looks with a bit of flour in it too. And all that's left to do is set the table and pop the rosé. Merry Christmas, guys. I hope you have a lovely Christmas or festive season or holidays. And I hope that you do have a go at making a kenzan arrangement for your Christmas table. It's very easy and it's a lot of fun. Thanks for watching.